Hey there. I don't know why I decided to do this intro on the webcam, but I don't know. I just kind of felt like it. I like to do that for some reason whenever I start a new series. I don't know why. Anyway, I've been kind of getting the itch to play some WoW again, World of Warcraft. So I'm deciding to start a new series where I'm going to be playing on this private server that I heard of just recently on the WoW servers subreddit, and it's called NycterMoon. It's a strange name, like NyCter Moon, and it's a vanilla server, but it is 1.12.1. But it is compared to some servers, it's not super custom like I've seen stuff like Turtle WoW and Vanilla Plus and many other ones out there, or the decent amount of other ones out there, I guess. Mostly its main selling point, I guess you could say, being a vanilla server, is that it has a actively developed, like currently still being developed and fairly well developed, I guess you could say, AI companion system built in, which basically just allows you to hire like mercenaries sort of around the game world from places like inns mostly and other spots of interest like that, which makes it so you could actually like feasibly quote unquote solo dungeons that you normally couldn't without a group. And you will, you are doing it with a group, but it is a group of fairly intelligent robots, whatever you want to call it, AI, and they function very similar to the player and stuff. Basically, the idea is that it's a vanilla server where no matter what the pop really is, the population really is, or whatever the activity on of that hour is on the server and everything, you can still do group content even without other people. And some would say, probably rightfully so in some ways, is, what's the point of that in an MMO? Is like, but then you have to also say, well, you could look at it as a single player thing if you want to, just like in all these other RPGs out there, squad based RPGs. Like I would look at it almost the same thing in some ways. And I think that's kind of the idea. But the idea is not necessarily to use those AI to remove the human player factor out of the entire equation here. But they're there to, I think, primarily to fill gaps where you have things like, say, I was on another server for a while, and at certain times of the day, like NA times, or North America times, whatever, there would be very few people on, and it's like, well, good luck. Most of the people would just be either AFK or bots or whatever thing, like farming bots and stuff. So it's like, hey, good luck doing Blackrock Depths at that time of the day. Even if you felt like doing it, it's like, well, you don't have anybody else to do it with, so screw it, you're just doing farming. And that really blows, because to me in vanilla, the dungeons are like one of the biggest draws, the biggest appeals. This is to me, other people would say the world, and I completely agree that the world and everything is great for vanilla. But for me personally, the thing I get probably the most nostalgic feeling, or what the most like, oh man, that was so cool from that, is the dungeons. And not being able to do them because of stuff like population or the times that you happen to get on and other crap factors like that, it really does suck, and it makes you not want to actually like play on some of these servers that have less people or something like that. And or you're just getting carried by like a level 60 to do a dungeon, and that sucks even more. You're not really doing the dungeon. You're just like, wow, you're getting carried through. I don't know. It's not the same thing. But being able to do it with fairly intelligent AI instead, it makes it a different kind of challenge, obviously, because it's not just you actually like, it makes it a much different challenge because you have to, in a lot of ways, kind of micromanage or babysit those AIs in some ways, because they're intelligent, but they're not, completely without need of some kind of leadership in some way. It's like much more intelligent Pikmin or whatever from the game Pikmin. Like, they need your leadership, otherwise they're kind of screwed. Like, they're just gonna do stupid shit, or they have completely terrible pathing, completely terrible positioning and stuff like that. Like, you need to lead them, Otherwise, you're not really going to get much done at the end of the day. In many cases, the more difficult things at least. But I like that idea, is that them being there to supplement and fill those gaps. Like if you just had, hypothetically, if you just had one friend that you were playing with or something, like on this server, you could do all the dungeons because you and your friend could both have two. One of you could have two of the AIs, or you just have one each. You don't need to have 5 people for a lot of vanilla dungeons, but you can do that if you wanted to, which I think is a really cool idea. And they even have it so you're doing raids with these AI, like what, they have like 8 people or something, and then each person of those 8 has 4 followers, mercenaries hired, whatever. And yeah, they've done most of the raids, I guess, with it, which is cool. Not that vanilla by itself is particularly difficult. Anything, I think most people without being like too ridiculous realize that, yeah, like vanilla WoW's challenge is kind of been like, to some extent, with you have people that are competent, it's kind of a joke. It does add more difficulty here if you're using AI, because then you have to control them in specific ways. But sometimes the AI is actually better than the people, because for so many of the roles that you have in the groups, it's a very simple thing. Like, okay, press the dispel button when the debuff goes on people, or heal people when they get below a certain amount, like that kind of thing. But in other cases, it makes it more challenging, because doing stuff like positioning is much more difficult when you're trying to tell a computer to do it than it is to tell a human, like, get over here, stupid. Yeah, it just seems like a pretty cool and neat idea. As I said with the vanilla thing, like, there's certain things, I'm going to talk about this a little in the next section that I will likely have, but the server has a few custom features and stuff. Now, I wish, this is just like a wish list that I know probably won't happen, but I wish that the server had some more difficulty added to it, such as the Vanilla Plus server, where they have, more custom balancing of like enemies and dungeons and stuff like that. That would be pretty sick, because Vanilla WoW, while it is really awesome in so many ways, when you actually do kind of figure stuff out and kind of know how to play to some extent, it's like becomes kind of a joke in face roll the way that the vanilla numbers are. But it's like, you do with it as you do. I plan on doing this series because like I said, I feel like playing WoW. I feel like trying out the server and trying out some stuff with the whole custom AI companions thing. And I was like, it would be kind of cool, since you could have AI companions and, nobody can really complain to you if you do some certain builds or whatever. How about I try some builds that are kind of considered unorthodox in vanilla WoW? Make that an extra kind of challenge or interesting thing to do with it. Like, get a character from 1 to 60. At least the idea that I'm going for is get a character from 1 to 60 and try to do all of the dungeons with just the AI, most likely. Maybe if somebody really wanted to tag along, maybe you could just add another person, like whatever. But primarily the idea being doing all the dungeons in vanilla with the 4 AI mercenary companions and yourself doing whatever role you do in a kind of unorthodox way, potentially. In my case, at least the first one I want to do, right, that I'm thinking about now, is I want to do a enhancement shaman, being the main dungeon tank, whatever. I want to try that, because I know it's not something that is like really, it's like really meme build kind of crap that, so many other specs in vanilla WoW are. They're so like useless or whatever, like they're considered useless and stuff, just the way that it was designed. So it's like, what can you do? But try something like that. Try and do all of the dungeons with these 4 AI companions doing whatever the role that I am currently trying to do, whatever unorthodox role. And even the ones that are kind of out of the way as I'm leveling, like, say for if I'm going to make like a troll shaman or something, it's obviously kind of a pain to get to the dead mines, but I'm going to try and do that. That's what I want to try and do. Get a character, at least one character from 1 to 60 on this server, do all of the dungeons along the way, and possibly another thing I'll add, like all of the quests for all of those dungeons as well. Like, there's some dungeons have some really out of the way weird quests, and maybe try and do that just for the fun of it. And stuff that people probably don't normally do, because hey, you can do whatever. Be like, hey, you don't have to. You have your followers, you have your mercenaries. You don't have to. You're not hurting anybody else by doing the weird quests that are a pain in the ass to do normally. It's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go this way, and then they'll come with you. Maybe another thing, I mean, I'll have to get into more details when I start playing and stuff, is possibly as the challenge. The way that the mercenaries work is like you hire them and you give them a specific role, you give like a specific class that you want for that role, and you could even pick a race and a gender for them. And then a lot of the other stuff is automatically like their gear and stuff. They have infinite potions, I guess, infinite like whatever consumes that they use, like weapon stones and stuff. They just kind of use whatever, which is obviously a lot better than most players would be doing in these cases, but still. But the thing is that you can only you don't have them permanently, kind of thing. Like as soon as you log out, these particular mercenaries that you hired, they disappear, and then you have to get a new group of them. I think it might be interesting to, each time that I do one of these dungeons or something like that, or each time I do whatever session, I'd be like, okay, let's randomize the roles that, well, obviously you're probably going to want a healer, or at the very least 4 DPS and then 1 off healer or something, which you can do. But, you know, just kind of like what you have in vanilla with players is that kind of like randomize the classes, at least, at the very least, randomize the classes to some extent. Like, you know, maybe don't always bring, you know, maybe just have a dice roll. Maybe you'll have a group with like 2 druids and 1 warlock and then 1 rogue or something, or 2 rogues, 1 warrior, 1 druid, or some shit like that. That can make it more interesting, I think, more challenging to have to deal with that kind of different composition and potentially different forms of CC you might have or might not have based on whatever class you have brought. This is a series I want to do. It's going to be much less frequent, probably, or it's going to be much less consistent in terms of its release schedule, whatever you want to call it, frequency, as my other series that I have doing, such as my Elder Scrolls Anthology thing that I'm doing right now, as well as my mod making stuff. Those are still going to be, you know, at least if I could keep my sanity doing them like that, daily things like I've been doing. But this one is going to be more for just kind of like, I feel like playing WoW, I feel like doing this, and I feel like doing this challenge as a, once again, as I've been doing all these videos, as a motivating tool for myself to stick through with these things to some extent, an accountability thing, a motivational thing. Because otherwise, if I was doing this like without doing any videos, I'd probably have a lot harder time through the hard parts, or the hard or the boring parts, where I'd be like, I just don't want to do this, and I'd probably just drop it and then never look back. And then it's like, oh, well, that sucks. But if I do it like this, I feel like I'll have a much higher possibility to actually stick through with it to the end. So that's probably the main reason I'm doing this, honestly. And I don't know, maybe people would find this interesting. I think it is a cool system with the AI and everything, the followers. That intro went way too damn long, as they always do with me, but I hope that you maybe enjoy this little series that I'm going to try and start. In this next part for this video, I'm going to probably just show you most of the specifications of the server, the features, like I said, the website, and possibly my setup that I have for the game, and then maybe afterwards I'll actually start playing the server. I'll see. As for right now, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next section. Okay, so this is the more info dump part that I said I was going to get to. Yeah, I'm basically just going to be reading like some of the aspects of the server in question that I'm going to be playing on and stuff, and some little tidbits of information here and there. Just to get this out of the way, I'm going to have basically all the links to these things specifically as in the description of this video, and probably for all the other videos as well within this series that I'm playing on this server, as well as I might have a link to most of the add-ons that I'm using, but I'll have to see about that because there can be quite a lot. But in this case, yeah, I'm going to be linking to this stuff in the description, and I'll just go over some of the stuff right now. So this is the server NycterMoon. This is its main website, NycterMoonWow.com, one word, and it is a vanilla server, specifically 1.12.1. It has a few, besides the things that I mentioned with the followers and everything, it has a few other custom features that the server has just on its own, and let's see some of those. So it has an upgrade system later on for the companions, but that's a much later detail, obviously. I guess you can get some big bags for like quite the money sink. It has a shirt that you can buy for for like 10 moon cloth and 300 gold. That'll give either one character or all your characters 2 times XP basically, so like an alt leveling thing. It has this thing called the Marketeer, which is essentially like an automated auctioneer, an auction house sort of thing. Or yeah, it's like an auction bot that the server has that basically that buys like any auction that is 2 times the cost of the item's value or something like that. So say if it was a 1 silver malachite or something, if you put it on the auction house for 2 silver, then the bot will automatically buy it from you. So you can essentially take items that might not have value for the most part. Instead of just vendoring them, you can get double that vendor value from the bot, as well as I guess it helps populate the auction house or something like that. There's an add-on specifically for this that makes it easier to do this, so it's not like a tedious annoyance to have to do that. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting feature. Since gold itself matters more because it does cost money to hire the mercenaries, the companions, whatever, and it's not cheap. And there's other gold sinks and stuff later on that were added. So yeah, it's money does matter more on here in this sense. There's some transmog system. I don't know how it works. I have no clue how it works, but transmog, I can always see that having issues, but also being a cool thing, especially the way that the clown suits in vanilla work, generally with the best in slot items usually looking pretty stupid together. So I think that's that's a feature. I'm not saying I particularly like am for or against it, but that's a feature. No PvP decay, so I guess I'm not well versed in PvP's mechanics at all for vanilla, but the whole ranking stuff, I guess there's no decay system, so you don't have to constantly grind for your rank and everything. Battleground skirmishers, this one is, I guess it fills up empty spots within battlegrounds with AIs, similar to the followers, but I guess they try to do, fairly simple things like do the objectives and things like that. I think they're very, very simple at the moment, but it's pretty neat. And apparently, at least from what I saw on the Discord just like yesterday or 2 days ago, the person doing a lot of the developing said that they were planning on starting more on the battleground or the PvP specific AI stuff. So that's pretty cool, honestly. I don't know how it would really suss out in the end, but it sounds cool. It's cross-faction. So Alliance and Horde can group up together for PvE stuff. They also share the auction house globally or whatever. There's no neutral goblin auction house. It's all the same. So yeah, it's possible to have groups with paladins and shamans due to this. But Horde cannot hire Alliance companions. You could just have human companions that are of the different factions. There is no debuff limit for 16 debuffs on this server. So yeah, I don't know what the limit is. There's probably still some limit, but it's not 16, so there's not any issue with that. There's no profession limit, so you can get as many primary professions as you want. The main limiting factor is that stuff like blacksmithing, leatherworking, and engineering specializations, you can only have one, I guess. In total, I guess. I don't know how that works specifically, but yeah, you can have all 7 professions, all 9 professions if you want. So you can have all gathering professions, all crafting professions, and all that if you really want. Instant mail, so there's no 1 hour timer for sending items to different people on the server. Full rewards from low-level quests. You will receive full XP and reputation rewards from completing quests, even if they are great to you. I like this feature. It's something that I believe they have on Turtle WoW. It was always a thing that I understand what they were kind of going for with it in the base game, but at the same time I always thought it sucked because it was like, well, if you happen to just kind of start out leveling an area, then it made you just not want to continue doing it besides for the sake of it, because it's like, oh, well, now I'm getting like no XP at all from doing anything, so it's like, why am I even going to finish the quote-unquote storyline or whatever? That was always lame to me, so I think that's always a cool addition or a cool edit that vanilla servers can do, is have the full rewards from no matter how low level the quest is and stuff. I like that. Another feature that I wasn't expecting but kind of interesting, automatic fishing. So basically you don't have to do the whole bobber thing anymore if you don't want to. It'll automatically do it for you when you do fishing, and it'll actually recast and everything. So you can fish AFK. Like that's completely a feature on the server in its own, I guess. So you can fish AFK if you want. You don't have to just sit there and click on it and wait for it, but you will still get logged out by the game automatically, I guess, for the logout timer. But that's kind of neat, I guess. I always never minded fishing, but yeah, I could see that being real annoying for most people not wanting to just sit there and do it. So that's probably a nice convenience feature for most people. What else is there? The rates are 1 times vanilla, but right now there is an XP event for 2 times across the board, I guess up to like October 15th. Right now, today it's October 6th. You get 2 skill points per profession skill gain or whatever. So if you level 1 profession, if you get 1 skill profession gain, you get 2 instead of 1. Profession skill up increased by 5% by 5% the chance, as well as that meaning that gray items, you even have a 5% chance for gray items on your crafting list to gain skills from that, a skill up from it, which is pretty interesting. So if you really don't want to do some of the more tedious things, you could potentially just use a really low level crafting thing and get a skill up, possibly. Player raid progression, lore friendly custom content. I don't know what that custom content is that what that specific thing is talking about. I don't know if that is implemented yet or whatever, or specifically anything like that. Unless it just means the companions, but yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that they do eventually try to add some custom stuff, but who really knows what the plan is with that? I sure don't. But that would be cool. I would love more difficult stuff added, difficulty stuff kind of added, like Vanilla Plus, that server, while it is a complete shit show in so many other ways, it does have a really cool kind of balance to some extent that makes the vanilla game a lot more difficult, and dungeons especially a lot more difficult. Some of them way too much, but some of them definitely needed it, which I think is really cool. That'd be awesome if this server did something similar, but I have no hopes for that, or I have no expectations for that to happen, but that would be cool. And then you have the features with the companions themselves. You can do this whole system of commands. You could give them specifically very intricate, detailed kind of commands and stuff. You could even do some of the commands through whispering the companions. There's the custom add-ons that this one has, specifically this CCP one companions control panel, which makes that companion part a little bit more user-friendly, I guess, if you want specific macros and stuff for that whole companions thing. Talents, which this is mostly the talents, I think, for the roles for the specific classes of companions and stuff. I believe that's just that. Some tips and stuff, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's the main aspects that I could see right now. I'll just show the one Reddit link found this from or whatever was this one from just a few days ago, apparently. Wow, it was only 4 days ago? Damn. Thought it was way longer than that. But yeah, this gives a little bit more details. It has the Discord. Like I said, I'll be linking this stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it that I have to say about that stuff specifically right now. And when I actually get in the game and show the stuff, I guess, that will be more of a better indicator. But yeah, in the next part, there will potentially be some actual me playing in the game. So I will see you then. Okay, welcome to the first actual gameplay part of this series, which will hopefully be mostly gameplay, unlike the intro to this video, I guess. It's been like at least probably like 3 or 4 days since I actually recorded that intro, and in that time I've just kind of been procrastinating starting the actual gameplay part, but I've been getting stuff set up like my add-ons and UI and settings and everything to try and have a smooth experience going through, at least as smooth as I can get it, without having to fiddle with settings and stuff like that the whole time. You might notice that this server is a vanilla WoW server, like it's 1.12.1, but you'll see the graphics and you're like, well, what the hell is this? This isn't vanilla. Well, that is true. So in the server's Discord, there is a bunch of links, useful links and stuff, and one of them was something for graphical patches. Now, I was thinking initially that I was like, oh, okay, so maybe they have some special UI things that need some graphical patching or something, I don't know. So I just installed them and said whatever about it, But then when I actually got in, I was like, oh, this is like graphical patches for like all the stuff, kind of. I don't know. I've never used one of the graphical patches on any other private server myself. And I was like, you know what? Since I did it, I might as well just keep it this way. I mean, I do quite like the vanilla graphics and everything, but maybe spice it up a bit by having some things, like I'll say some things look a little bit not as good, and some things definitely look better. So it's like, yeah, it's a give or take. Might as well spice it up a bit, I guess. Unless there's some reason I really have to get rid of it, like in some of the intro, what would you call this? These I don't know what you call this. This like little stage that they have for the characters. The ones with the snow, for some reason, like the dwarf and the gnome ones, they have this glitched texture. But when you're actually in the snowy areas, at least the parts that I've been in, there's no glitched textures. It's just in this kind of stage area. But then most of the other ones are fine. But yeah, so it's gonna have non-vanilla graphics for the most part. A few other things that I wanted to get out of the way is that during when I was talking with the on the Discord, I was given information that yeah, you can sort of change your XP rate, but it's for you can't modify the percentage without just items or whatever. There's no way to like half it, but you can turn it off with a shirt or something apparently. That if you talk to somebody in a major city, they give you a shirt that turns off XP. So that's it's not the best solution, I guess, but at least it's something. So if I want to do that, I can do that. And I likely will, depending on certain factors. And yeah, the XP event only is happening until like the 15th or 16th of this month, October. So it's like, yeah, not a big deal, I guess, but we'll see. But yeah, as you can see on screen, this will be my character that at least for this series that I will be playing. Her name is Shulmi. I got this name from a random name generator for like WoW names, so I went for like female trolls, and after a lot of trying, I was like, yeah, this one will work. So our shaman will be Shulmi. She will be a tank. I guess I might as well just get into the game and see how it goes. And I'll probably have to mess with the audio settings and stuff, but I think it should be okay. And as you could see in our interface, I was gonna say with the hair, man, the troll females, at least maybe it's the graphical patch or maybe it's just vanilla. They have like so few not offensive or just like not kind of ridiculous looking hairstyles, and this is like uh, honestly, this is like the least ridiculous and obstructive one. So amazingly, and I made it like kind of reddish to be like, all right, you know, elemental fire kind of deal, I guess. And my UI that I'm using is PFUI, and I just did my own custom stuff. It took me a few hours to kind of suss it out and everything, and it's still not perfect. But it's pretty comfortable, I'll say, when I think about it, at least for right now. I'll have to see what happens when I get totems and everything. On the server, since you have control of your own bots, or you have your own bots, whatever you want to say, you could hire companions. Macros are definitely something that would be very extremely useful to actually help control them, just like with pets, but even much more complicated pets, basically, like vastly more complicated kind of pets with more control for them. So I made a bunch of useful macros with the add-on that the server suggests heavily, pretty much like guaranteed, or pretty much like necessary in some ways. SuperMacros, stuff that is suggested on their site, stuff like come, move, pause, pull, start, stay, stop, unpause, all that kind of stuff. Basic kind of commands. And I also made some of these other ones that are more specific or more, yeah, they're less general, such as for buffing things. This one is like, you can whisper the specific companion in question and tell them to cast and the name of the spell, it's case sensitive. So in this case, like I had Power Word Fortitude, so if you had a priest, you could whisper them to buff whoever you're targeting with that. But it's a little annoying because you have to whisper that companion's specific name. So when you get new companions, you have to change the names for everyone, which is annoying. So the server, or at least one of the devs or the main dev, whatever on the server, the owner, I don't know, he had a suggested, I guess, first kind of SuperMacro script that you can do to make this easier. It's on the website, so I probably don't even really need to mention it, but basically you use this and you could put in like these queries for these commands like /script after you put in the proper things to the SuperMacro's file or whatever, and then you could say, okay, like companion buff me, which is one of the function names, and then you could do priest if whatever class, basically whatever class you want to check for in your party to do that, and then whatever buff, and then they'll buff you. In this case, I made a modification to that, which I think is actually more generally useful, is that companion buff target. So instead of just buffing you, it ignores any other like checks that happened in that kind of like process. So instead of just buffing you specifically and checking your buff duration, it will run basically no matter what. So whoever you're targeting currently, it'll tell whatever one in the party that is that class. I guess probably the first one, like the first one in the index, it'll check like priest buff this with Power Word Fortitude or something, whatever. Druid use Mark of the Wild on my target, or me or you or whatever. So that's pretty damn handy. And I guarantee I'm going to be messing around with those a lot for specific things. So how about I just shut up? I'm going to have to mess with my hotkeys, but PFUI config makes it super easy, but I'll have to screw with those in a bit. For right now, that'll work. Just R for lightning bolt. And there's other things to mention, but I'm not really remembering it at this very moment. I didn't even know that was a thing, that little mana animation heartbeat thing. That's pretty handy, but also kind of distracting, not gonna lie. But let us start our first the first quest after 12 minutes or whatever. Let's start out here. I'm most likely going to put in... I have the in-game music turned off, because I normally would be using, playing my own music, just in the background or whatever. Even though the in-game music is very, good and everything. But, in this case, it's better to probably just have the in-game music and everything. But right now, I'll just leave it as it is, because I'm probably going to be talking a decent amount more in this one compared to some other ones. And I'm obviously not doing, probably the most important thing here, which is, you know, hiring companions on the server that is specifically that, wow. How is that even possible? I need 1 XP. I've never seen that. A single XP. But that's, no, you know what? So, that's something with the companions I didn't know. Actually, you know what? The in-game sound is a little bit too loud, I think. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. These fucking pigs are making a lot of noise. Yeah, that's a lot more comfortable. But the companions, they don't actually... screw it. I'll just I'll just finish the quest. They level with you. So like if you hire companions at level 1 and then you level up, they all level up as well. But for some reason I assumed, I was like, so does that mean that they actually like get to upgrade their equipment and stuff too, or I don't know how that works, but no, they don't. They do not upgrade their equipment and they do not get new skills until you rehire them. Until you rehire them with the new levels that they have. So that is something to note. So if you, it's cheaper. It's cheaper in terms of the amount of gold, that whatever gold or money that you spend to hire them at level 1, because it costs just less to do that. But they also they also stay at level 1 and they have the same skills at level 1 and the same gear. I mean, even though the gear wouldn't change much, but the skills would. So depending on how long you go like leveling, it's definitely a good idea to probably refresh your companions here and there, depending if you can afford it, because their skills are not going to be updated otherwise. I'm certain that it matters much less as you level up, as they like would already have most of their skills for the most part, compared to early levels where they get new stuff like every few levels. I don't know what that noise was. What was that? Is that the achievement noise? I hate this scroll bar in my mouse. My mouse wheel doesn't work. There we go. Yeah, what? That was like the Wrath achievement noise, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Wow. The music is so low, but it's set so low and it's still pretty damn loud. Alright, that'll work better. Oh, nice. Alright, what's the button? P. Rockbiter weapon. I completely forgot about racials. Yeah, I know I made a troll that's going to be a shaman, or trying to be a shaman tank, and it would have been much more effective in terms of min-maxing to be a Tauren, obviously. I like Tauren, but I just really didn't feel like playing a Tauren, honestly. And I know regeneration, such a useless talent, especially on a class with mana, and like how the formula works. Like it basically does nothing unless you're a troll like warrior or rogue. Is that your health regen is going to be so little? It's like actually means nothing. But yeah, I mean Berserker is pretty cool. Not like the most useful thing. Like it has some use, but you know, beast slaying is obviously pretty handy. But most of the other skills, I don't know. I just wanted to play a troll because I like trolls. They're a cool race. They look pretty decent. And I also played female because I like the male trolls model, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Their animations are just kind of like really off. And the way that the armor kind of goes on them, it just doesn't look very good. Like with a female troll, at least they're kind of a little bit less like weird and lanky, I suppose. That's kind of my reason for that. All right, so we got, what's the, man, I do not remember my Keys. This is going to be changing up these keys so much later on. Or soon. Oh, wait, I can't remove that manually. I forgot about that. Well, either way. Rock Fighter gives us 29, which is pretty good. And now we have 50 copper, which ain't very much. We're gonna go kill some scorpions. We're level 3. Oh. And also that one, too. Now, where is the companion hiring person here? Was it this guy? No. Oh, it is.
What do you need for the whole?
Let me get the apples first. The Cactus Apples quest.
Brawl hall.
Yeah, I should probably take the click to activate thing off instead of the down, the up key or whatever, but I'll see. I'll see. I'll see if it's that annoying to me. It is annoying just to redo the buttons like that. Let's see. So, how am I gonna do this? So, hire by... no. No, I want to customize. So, we got... Yeah, I could pick from that. Okay. So, how am I gonna do this? For this randomization thing. I should have probably thought this one out a little bit more. I knew I was gonna get like a dice roll thing or some shit, but it's a little bit annoying since they have different values for each one. Here, give me a second, I'll get something. Alright, I just quickly downloaded this stupid phone app. So, some dice rolling phone app. So we got 8 classes, so I'll roll a d8. Alright, so I'll go with that. Roll 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, so we got a mage. Gotta be a ranged DPS, and we'll make it a troll. You know, just because it's more fitting for Duratar than an undead. And I guess we'll make it, I don't know. Let's roll a D2, fuck it. A 1, so male. Alright, and we'll get one more. Wait, how much is it? 6. We'll get one more, because, honestly, 4 is complete overkill. Or, I mean, even 2 can be... 2, like, a player and a bot can be overkill in some ways, but I think 3 is a pretty good balance between losing XP per kill as well as, the... how fast it takes to kill stuff or whatever. The open world, like, combat, whatever you want to say, with a party is kind of a joke, as if that, you know, there's a lot of things that are kind of a joke in terms of difficulty in vanilla, but it's definitely a joke. We rolled a 4, so we get a rogue, melee DPS. Now we got 3 choices here, D3. This app is actually pretty sick. Okay, like, at least it's perfect for this, because I needed, like, different, and it just tapped the right one. And a female this time. Cool. I'll give that app some credit. That's a pretty nice one. So we got our first 2 companions here, a troll rogue and a troll mage. And not his arcane intelligence will not really be that useful, so I'm not even gonna bother doing the macro for it. She has no buffs to give. But as you can see, they start with their own gear and stuff, and they actually, for at least this level, they have really damn good gear. I don't know how it's that. I don't know why that didn't update. I don't know how it's determined, like, what gear to give them. I assume maybe there's, like, some kind of gear list that goes through, but yeah. And you could do a lot of shit. You could do a lot of shit with these companions. As I said, with these, macros and stuff. You know what I'm gonna do? I am going to see if I could turn off that setting for the on-down tap or whatever it's called, because It is kind of annoying when I'm trying to switch around abilities. Where the shit is it, though? I found it. It was under Action Bar General. Trigger actions on key down. And I think that should fix this. Yep, yep, perfect. So now I have to actually click down completely to have the thing happen. That's perfect. But yeah, back to putting those macros on the bar somewhere. I am not very proficient when it comes to macros at all, or using keybond or whatever you want to call it, because I just I haven't played I haven't played in a pretty long time, and I've never been that great at the reflexive part of these kind of things. So I've always been pretty shit at setting up keybinds and stuff like that, and actually being good at stuff like PvP and all that. Oh, now how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna set it up? Because I want start. Start is, I mean, you can read all this stuff on the wiki for the kind of wiki with the useful information on the website. But yeah, some of the stuff it's fairly obvious, but also not super obvious because it does a lot of stuff like start is basically the one that you should use to be like telling them to attack something or to like engage in combat. Stop stops whatever they're doing, I believe. But it doesn't stop them completely. Like that's what pause is for. Pause will actually completely stop them doing anything, I believe. Like they won't even like defend themselves or whatever shit. They'll just completely stop. But and then unpause does the opposite. And you can even specify stuff like how long you want them to pause, what classes you want to pause in the party instead, specifically, not just the entire party. Stay makes them stay, but they will still do their stuff. They'll just stay in position. They'll heal themselves and heal you and everything. That's probably a pretty useful one. Um, Move tells them to stop staying. Come tells them to actually like get right on your position. Like yeah, like that. And you could even whisper them stuff like whisper let's see, whisper hello, and then it gives you a whole list of stuff that you could kind of whisper them generally, like let's just try joke. Huh. I thought they told their normal jokes, but that's interesting. Oh, wrong one. Let's whisper him. Let's see if he tells the actual, like, troll joke. No, weird. Strange. I thought they did the emote. Maybe sometimes they don't. And they even just added recently dance, which makes them makes them all dance when you dance. What was some of the other ones like cast, and then you could ask them spell list or something. Spell list spells. Yeah, so he tells me what spells he has. He's got Fireball, Frost Armor, Arcane Intelligence, which you can then use for stuff like macros to be like buff with this, and if you know what they have and everything. And that's the main ones, I guess. But yeah, starting there's lots of other ones and ways to use them, but these are kind of like the main general ones you'll be using. You could also whisper them stuff like what positions you want them to be in, like how far away they'll follow you from, instead of being like fairly close like they are. You could have them follow like 30 yards over there or something instead. Or even tell them to follow somebody else, which is pretty handy, I guess, in raids and everything. Or have them follow each other, like have the rogue follow the mage instead of following me and all that. But right now, I'll just keep it simple, I guess, and just do it as it is. But what key to have is start and stop? Because those are going to be probably the most commonly used ones, I think. And, I actually want to play my class 2, so I don't want to just have their stuff committed to my own shit. Here, you know what? I will pause, and I will be right back when I kind of figure that out. Alright, I guess I'll just keep it like this for now. We'll see how it goes. So I get start is 3. The reason I don't have it as like 1, you'd think, is because I don't know, on my keyboard 1 is actually harder to reach than most of the others. Or maybe not most of the others, but it's harder to reach than like 2 and 3, the way my fingers are positioned. So I figured these will work. And then I got E and Q as that and everything, so hopefully that works out alright. And apparently I have some keybinds for eating and drinking, but not too concerned about this that's this second. So what do we got? Got kill scorpions and vile familiars. Oh shit, forgot about the apples. Let's collect some apples then. Yeah, I mean it's probably not gonna be very like probably gonna be almost like understated at some point. The companions to some extent. Like already that one almost got like bugged for a second there. But I forget how you make them. I think just doing like come probably would like help unstuck in there. But oh yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna say. So there is obviously probably way more advantages than there are disadvantages to having companions. But some of the clear ones are that your XP gets split with them, or you know, they don't get XP per se, but they steal your XP. Just as if you had other players, I guess. But obviously you kill stuff way quicker. Here, let's actually... Oh, wow. She actually used stealth. I never had a rogue yet. That's pretty cool. That's neat. But yeah, like, obviously your kill time goes... Would it be go up or goes down? Your time to... Yeah, that would be it. I guess your time to kill goes down way, way significantly when you have the companions, which is a big deal. But obviously your XP gets split. And you also, for stuff like when you loot any humanoids with that have money on them, the money gets split just like if you were in a normal party and everything. So they take some of that money, which it honestly that amount doesn't matter nearly as much as... Why is that? Some of these sounds are still too damn loud, man. This game is loud, it feels like. I mean, it's probably not going to be loud in the recording, because I have it, reduced by, like, half, but we'll have to see, I guess. But for me, it's, like, fucking loud. But, obviously, that, like, maybe later on that matters more, the split for the, looted, coin and everything. But, it does, like... Wait, the amount of grays that you loot, as well as other things, significantly outweighs that, I guess. Even though you're going to be having to, if you say want to grind XP, you're going to be having to killing a lot more of things to actually, like, get the amount that you're looking for. But yeah, it's like, I don't, if you're just starting like I am, like at the probably even like doing any outdoor quest sort of deals, you probably really wouldn't want or even like necessarily need more than two companions. But then in dungeons, you'd want at least 3 others, and then at most, you know, obviously the max fought 4 others. And another thing, I guess, that would be a disadvantage is that, not that they take, that's a huge deal for vanilla at least, is that the companions actually, as you can see, your share of the loot is 2 copper. In vanilla, when you're trying to do questing, it's actually like almost always worse to do it with other party members, just because they take so much, like since you all usually, depending on the quest, obviously, you all will be taking quest items separately. So then it's like, oh wow. So we're doing a party thing here, but then it's like, oh well, great. Now we have to do like 3 times the amount of killing instead of just 1 times because we have to do for all 3 people. But in this case, they're not taking quest items or anything, so that's actually like a really big advantage to having the companions over, just like human party members. Not that, just in this case for questing at least, it's a big advantage to have them instead of actual human party members. And as you can see, some of these commands spam the shit out of chat. But, it's like, whatever. You can make it probably a chat for that specifically to filter that out a bit. As you can probably tell, this is quite a bit faster just for the amount of stuff that you're killing. And yeah, oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is that the companions, they have, like, infinite resources, whatever, like the infinite, stuff that they use for themselves. Like if they certain classes, I guess, will use sharpening stones and weight stones and buff items like that, and yeah, things of that sort. But they'll just use it without care because they have infinite supply of it. Same thing with like water and food and drink, and you'll see they'll be drinking and eating like every time you stop, basically, at least unless you specifically tell them to not eat or drink until a certain threshold or something. So that, oh yeah, they also apparently, I guess when you get higher level, they start using potions like mana potions and probably health potions and stuff, which is pretty cool. So besides having to, actually like, well, even though they're fairly smart on their own, but for more specific things, you obviously have to command them yourself. Um, yeah, like for just general play, they are much they are generally probably going to be much more competent at their jobs as than like an actual player would be in most cases in vanilla for the most part, because generally people that play vanilla or just WoW in general are pretty shit at the game. But it's this is definitely one of those cases that, yeah, they are able to do their jobs probably much better than most players. Or not, maybe not most, but yeah, I guess probably the majority of players generally would be able to. But it'll be very interesting when I actually get into group content, which is, gonna be the main thing of this, because after I do this one, I'm probably gonna be potentially fast forwarding through a lot of this stuff, just because, like, I don't know. It's unless I have something to talk about while I'm doing it, I probably, because there's not really that much to say. Like, vanilla WoW when you're leveling solo it's can be somewhat engaging for the actual like person playing, but I imagine for somebody watching, it's not that intriguing at the end of the day. It's just kind of like, oh, okay, just kill that, kill that. And especially in this case where it's like, yeah, it's just kind of right this moment, it's pretty basic what the hell is going on here. But I figure for this one, it was probably best to do the start from the beginning here and just kind of talk while I'm doing it, because, introduce what the heck is kind of going on this server, and with the whole uniqueness of the AI aspect and everything, the companions thing. Now, in this case, I'm not sure how they're gonna react to this. I know that they will teleport to you in certain cases to get to you because they can't jump and stuff. Let's see, pause, and let's see if I do come, if they will teleport to me. Or what? Okay. I wasn't expecting that one, but sure. Yeah, they could be a bit are valid for your command. Well, follow me then. Okay, yeah, so see, they could be kind of derpy at the same time, like, It's obviously not perfect. And they will also, at after a point, they will get pretty expensive. In all reality, like if you're hiring a full group of them, like so that's one aspect. I'll just keep doing the quest as I talk, even though I'm bad at multitasking. But let's get a club, I guess, even though staff is better. But yeah, shield doesn't mean shit right now anyway. Let's be real. Let's be real. Shield doesn't really mean shit at this level. Okay, we got Earth Shock. Very nice. But the main way that you kind of have to deal with getting money and stuff, because you're going to be using a lot of money. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Is that the companions, if you log out, they disband, basically. Like, they disappear as soon as you log out, like, proper, like, 20-second logout. But I found, I don't know if this is going to be fixed or if it's intended. If you do exit game, like this, like exit game, and then you press exit now, that considers, like, you being disconnected. What the hell would be the word? Like, inadvertently disconnecting or something. So, it'll actually have a grace period for that time. The companions won't leave you for that duration, which apparently the server owner, at least I think he's the server owner, he mentioned that grace period is like an hour or something, which is actually pretty long if that's true. So probably if you just want to like leave, if you just want to like get offline but you still want to play your companions, have your companions a little bit later, like go AFK kind of thing. Yeah, just do exit game instead of log out properly, and they won't leave, and then you won't have to, or they won't leave it, I guess, for around an hour or something after that fact, so that's pretty nice. Even if it might not be intended. Because, yeah, like, later on, they're gonna get fairly expensive, and it gets more expensive proportionally, like, each one you hire. So, at least if it's working properly, like, the first companion, let's say, cost, like, in this case, like 6 copper, and then maybe the second one is going to be, like, 12, and then the third one, like, 18 or 20-something or whatever. It's not like each one costs more and more for each one that you get in the party, so it's like, yeah. You have to be aware of that. Otherwise, you might spend a lot more money than you're really expecting, and then eventually you'll be like, oh, shit. There is probably going to be a lot of points where I am like, I don't have any money. But one way that you can supplement that, I know I shouldn't be going back just to get one of these peons, but I feel like it. One way to supplement that is with the auction thing that I mentioned at the intro, that being the kind of auction bot, or the marketeer, I think it's called. So you could get a lot more money for your vendor stuff, certain, not like grays, that you still just vendor, but certain other items like whatever other, like, white items, probably, certain ones, as well as, like, greens and other stuff like that you could get, like, double their vendor cost for it. So that'll probably help supplement it quite a bit, I'd imagine. But I will have to see what kind of challenge come up from all of this in the end. As I said, the questing part, or whatever, the actual, like, doing the world quest, outside world quest, is probably not going to be an issue whatsoever with the companions, honestly. Not like it's hard to do. The companions are going to be an interesting challenge when it comes to doing the dungeons, obviously. Like, that's the main thing I imagine is going to be the intrigue for myself, as well as any viewers or whatever anybody that might view this shit, is the actual, like, dungeon part. And maybe eventually, like, raids or something, but I'll see when I get to max level and all that crap. But the dungeons, because the dungeons are where, that for me, that's like the best. There's of so many things of vanilla that are great. The dungeons are the part that I love the most, I think. So that's going to be the most interesting thing to see how it goes. And who knows, it might be real easy, it might actually be fairly challenging, I don't know, depending on how I'll have to make probably a lot of macros and how, like... I'm imagining it's probably going to be easier, potentially, doing this as the tank rather than some other role, because I'll have the kind of positional sort of thing, the advantage there, and being able to just pull and stuff like that without having to tell the companion to do it. It obviously is going to add some extra challenge for the fact that I'm doing it as a suboptimal, or whatever you want to call it, a not, like, a not min-max kind of... I didn't really want you guys to do that, but okay. I just accidentally clicked that, right-clicked that. But yeah, doing it as a... God damn it, I don't want to right-click. That's gonna be something I have to get used to. But yeah, if you go into the attack mode, they also basically do start, which is pretty helpful, but also possibly gonna be an issue many times when I'm like, oh, I accidentally pressed it or clicked them. But yeah, I mean, I'll have to see, because I know at low levels, a shaman can be a perfectly fine tank, just like almost any other rate, like any other class can, just how it works at low levels. But as we get later on, it's definitely gonna be something I will have to, I'll probably have to deal with quite a bit and be like, oh man, this sucks for some of these dungeons, but we'll just have to see where the cards fall there. Hopefully it's not too painful. On the other server I played on, I mean, there's been a bunch of other private servers I played on, but the recent one that I played on, Vanilla Plus, this is like probably over a year ago at this point. They made it so, like, they basically completely redid the enhancement tree to have, like, an entire kind of, like, sub-branch to it for tanking, and let me tell you, they had some heavy favoritism or something for shamans, because they made them have so much shit. It was just absurd. But it's like, hey, whatever, you know, but it was so many other stupid decisions, but I thought that was pretty neat. But I just know that in vanilla, they do not have all, or at least in not altered vanilla for the talent and stuff. That is not the case. They do not have many well-designed things for actually, like, tanking. Even though, like, they can, it's just not very good. So I'm likely going to have to be using a lot of, commands to, like, tell my companions to, like, basically not attack. Like, let me get aggro and stuff. Give me time to get aggro and everything. And I'll probably be taking a lot more damage in a lot of situations than, other tanks would be. Let's see, L. Got the pick, medallion. Well, might as well Hearth. I'm pretty sure they just... I've never Hearthstone with them. I'm pretty sure they just immediately follow you or teleport with you. But we'll see. Oh, yep, they just come with you. Nice. Very nice. Alright, yeah, now I'm gonna have to do the Shaman specific quest. They also have this add-on, which probably specific for the server, which is like a lot more just like click focused. Like, oh yeah, just click this interface to do certain commands for the companion stuff, which is pretty neat. I haven't really used it much, but it's probably really useful for stuff like mark configuration to tell them what marks what marks mean what for raid marks and stuff. But I haven't used it much yet. I probably will be later, I'm sure. Alright, no more nice robe. Now we got some ripped up sweatpants. Find Spirit Rock. Drink the earth sapta. I never noticed that its name was Spirit Rock. That's pretty funny. Pretty funny name there. So we got our first totem, which, yeah, I almost completely forgot that I'm a shaman and I'm going to be using totems. That's going to be fun to manage. And yeah, if anybody is through this part at this point, it's probably going to be pretty clear that I'm going to be having a lot of stuff edited out or cut out, probably that or sped up. But cutting is a lot easier than speeding up, kind of deal. So for me, I'm pretty lazy, so it's probably just going to be a lot of jump cuts between things of potential interest, I guess. Now let's pause you guys so I could get my Earth Septa. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, the I guess they give you the they give you the quest for the totem, or they give you the ability for the totem, but they don't give you the ability to use it yet because you need to actually get the spirit, talk to the spirit rock first. Okay, guys, unpause. Oh, there you guys come. What's the best way to get out of this little area? I guess just walk back instead of trying to find a stupid shortcut. Oh yeah, this is gonna be real interesting to be doing. Uh, I'm just imagining now. I'm like, oh boy, let's see how this will be complicated for me. Even though the companions are very, very good at what they do, it's just having them to, like, do specific things is gonna get so chaotic probably, and I'm just gonna be I'm not very much one of the people that's good at reacting to stuff when shit is going on. So there's probably gonna be a lot of dungeon wipes from just shit going wrong like that. Say that one boss. Oh yeah, I forgot the totems take up inventory. Oh well. Yeah. I haven't gotten any bags yet either. Oh yeah. But say that one boss. Oh, that's nice. They got the different models for the totems too with this graphic patch or whatever. That's neat. Oh, and that's where my totems bar is. Cool. Cause there's a totems bar with this PFUI thing. Man, I forget, do totems just stick around until, like, I figured that they have it, maybe, I don't know. Oh, and you can click that. Interesting. Interesting. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That boss in Maradon, that satyr that does like the stuns. I don't even know if he does the stuns in normal vanilla or not. All I know is in Vanilla Plus he was a hard as fuck chaotic boss due to like doing an AoE stun to everybody and shit. Like that kind of stuff where it just becomes a clusterfuck. I have no clue how I'm gonna have to really up my game probably for some of those situations. Alright, so I'm really going to want to get professions, honestly. Like, I don't know. It might honestly be worth walking to Orgrimmar just to get skinning and stuff, because there's obviously going to be a lot of money gotten, like, raw money gotten from skinning and stuff. So, yeah, I might do that. And let's just pick up these quests. I'm not sure what level I'm going to try and do start Ragefire Chasm. I think it said at level 13 is the minimum. Oh shit. Get herbalism already, nice. Forgot that there was a trainer here for that. Alright, sweet. I am definitely going to need more action bars, I can tell you that. Now, I'm going to have to figure out how to get more action bars somewhere. I know there's a way, it's just I'm gonna have to figure that out. Sort that out. Man, maybe wasn't really clear, but man, I spent so many hours, maybe not so many hours, but like a good amount of hours trying to get this stuff set up. And I still probably am gonna have to do so much setup and stuff. after the fact. I just wanted to finally get, like, a video out instead of just, like, procrastinating. Or at least get the recording out instead of just procrastinating, like, constantly. Now, all these are currently, you know, yellow. Alright, so that's cool. Now, is there a companions person to hire here? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think probably most of the companions hiring people are probably at inns. But yeah, you know what? This video has gone on definitely long enough. Definitely long enough, and I think I got enough done in the video and everything that I'm fairly comfortable to stop it here, even though I need to do my action bars and sort that crap out. That sound effect is so goddamn loud. It's obnoxiously loud. Uh, but yeah, this has gone on definitely long enough. So for this one, I'm going to call it, and in the next one, I'll probably continue, but I will see. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one if you still want to continue. Thanks.